Welcome to Everyday Cooking with Ann. Today we're going to be making one of my favorite salads. I love chicken salad, but I love even more Chinese chicken salad. Anything Asian I absolutely adore. I found this recipe years ago and it is an all-time favorite. Today I'm going to show you we have 4 steps to make this salad. So it is a little bit labor intensive, but it is worth every time. So I'm going to show you what you can do in advance if you want to make it the day before or earlier in the day. Then you'll have everything ready, especially if you want to do a little luncheon for your friends. It's so impressive, and I've actually served a whole group of 60 women this salad, and they loved it. Okay, just a reminder, you will find this recipe in the description below under the word show more. A lot of my customers have been saying, hey, where's your recipe? And I need to remind you once again, I do print every recipe for any of my videos right below the video where it says show more, and you can go ahead and go there, or I will tell you in the video that it is in my cookbook. So either way, you will get the recipe. So let's get started, and we're going to start with something you can do ahead of time because you want it to chill in the refrigerator. Okay, it is the dressing, which personally, what makes this salad is the dressing. All the other ingredients are wonderful and healthy and beautiful and all of that, but the dressing is why you go back for it again and again and again. And it's very simple and very Asian, believe it or not. Okay, the ingredients are going to be honey. We'll have some mayonnaise. We'll have Grey Poupon Dijon mustard, a little bit of sesame oil, and rice wine vinegar. Okay. To get started, we're going to put in, okay, what I'm going to tell you now is that I am 3 timesing the recipe for the dressing. And I'll tell you why. 1 timesing it won't cut it for anybody because they're going to want more dressing. I mean, you should eat less, but you're going to want more. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you I'm 3 timesing the recipe. So to 3 times the recipe, I am putting in 3/4 of a cup of mayo. And I'm also putting in 9 tablespoons of honey. Now, this is a little bit more than the 1/2 cup that I'm showing, but a 1/2 cup of honey is 8 tablespoons. So you'd only need to put in 1 more tablespoon, and I overfilled it already, so I'm sure it's close to 9 as it is. So 9 tablespoons of honey. You're going to put in a whole tablespoon of Grey Poupon mustard. So it's basically a honey mustard dressing. And you don't have to be exact with this, like I'm not either. I put about a tablespoon of this in, maybe a little bit more. And you can adjust your amounts to your taste as well. Okay, and then on the sesame oil, it calls for only 1/8 of a teaspoon, which would be like 3/4 of a teaspoon. But I'm going to put a whole teaspoon in because this is really the beautiful flavor that goes in it that really makes it amazing. So I'm going to put a whole teaspoon of sesame oil. And we are going to put, this is rice wine vinegar. This is like the vinegar with the sweet, while it is why it makes it a great dressing as well. But I'm going to go ahead and put in 3 times in the recipe, 4.5 tablespoons. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm just eyeballing it here for a 1/2 tablespoon in here. Okay, that should do it. Okay, there you go. Okay, then this is very simple. You just take a wire whisk here and just whisk this together. It's very simple to make, but you do want to chill it. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator. I usually use leftover jars of any kind, I think, to put my homemade dressings in so that they're always easy to stack in the refrigerator. But this one I'm going to put in right now so I can show you at the end how great it looks on the salad and what we're going to do. Okay, so this is step 1, and we'll be back in just a moment for step 2 of the salad. Okay, we are back to step 2 of our Chinese chicken salad. Okay, and this is going to be another thing you can do ahead of time. This is going to be wonton wrappers that you will buy. You could probably use egg roll wrappers too for the same purpose, but we're going to be actually slicing those in strips. This is basically a 1/2 package. This comes with, I think, 100, and this is like 50 of these. And I personally think the best salads I've ever had have a lot of texture. They either have nuts on top, or they have some kind of crispy thing like tortilla strips, or they have this an Asian thing, which is the wonton strips that we're going to fry up. They're nice and crunchy, and they just give the salad an extra bit of texture and just crunch, which makes it even more unbelievably yummy. So I'm going to show you what I do here. I actually keep a jar of oil that I have used for other purposes, if it would go fine with this, and I keep it in my pantry. I add a little bit more oil to it every time. I never put the residue from the jar, but I do reuse my oil off and on because you can. You can see when you're not supposed to use it again because it's getting too dark. So we are using just regular vegetable oil that I'm using. I probably have a couple of cups in here. There you go. This is what the oil we're going to do. And I like to use a nice deep pan so you're not going to have anything splattered. If you have a baby fryer or deep fat fryer you want to use, to me this is just the simplest way. I use a pan that I don't use for hardly anything else, and I don't care how greasy it gets to do my frying because I'm usually not making it for a huge crowd when I'm making this, just for a smaller crowd. But I have made it for a huge crowd. But here we go. I'm going to show you first of all about how you want to slice these wonton strips. Another word for this is alimentary paste, but basically this is just dough. Okay, I heated my oil up on high till it got really hot, but then before you do your wonton strips, you want to turn it down to medium or medium low because you don't want them cooking too quickly and you don't want them to get too brown and too burned. So that's what I've done now. I feel a little bit of heat from the top here, so I don't think it's too hot now, but it's down on medium low at the moment. Okay, and what I've done too is I've taken these strips that I cut ahead of time and I separated them out so that when I put them in, they're all going to cook evenly. Okay, some of these are not completely done. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put these in. You see, it doesn't take long for them to brown up. In fact, it's ready now to take out. Okay, I've got my temperature on medium to medium low. It's not too hot now. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I just put a handful of these separated wonton strips right in here. And they start bubbling up right away. You've got to make sure you don't have any children around while you're doing this. I'm stirring them till they just start barely turning golden brown. So I had it a little bit too hot before, but when it stops bubbling, you know that it's time to take them out. And so this is what they look like when they're ready to take out. Okay, let me take the next batch and put them in and show you. And they do crisp up a lot once you take them out too. So you want them kind of light colored, and you want to make sure your oil is not too hot. Now I had to practice that a little bit too. Let's show the next batch, and this is the last batch that's going in. Turning that heat up a little bit because it kind of died down. So keeping it at temperature is a challenge, of course, when you're not using a temperature probe. So here we go. And like I said, these can all be prepped ahead of time when you're serving this salad. Okay, now we're doing step 3 of the chicken salad. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either buy chicken, and this is what I do when I'm ever putting just chicken in a salad, just regular chicken, but I showed you in other videos how you actually roast some chicken breasts that have the skin on the bone in at 375 for 40 minutes. Take the bone off and you can shred the chicken to put in the salad. That's probably the more healthy way to do it, but the original way is really delicious, and you might want to do it the way we're going to do it tonight, which is cutting. The recipe calls for 1 chicken breast, but we're doubling the recipe, tripling the recipe, because we know we're going to want leftovers on this salad. So I've gone ahead and taken 2 chicken breasts, and I've gone ahead and sliced them, each chicken breast, into about 5 slices. So you're going to have kind of like chicken tenders here. You could probably buy chicken tenders, and it's just as fine too if that's what you'd like to do. But if you want to buy your chicken breast, these are going to be the slices of chicken that we're going to actually fry up in a little bit. You're going to be dipping it first in some, this is going to be an egg milk wash. So I'm going to go ahead and put my egg in here. And Beat that up in here. And I'm going to put, now the recipe is exactly this because I have found that there's plenty left over of all of this. So you can do 2 chicken breasts easily with this recipe. So I'm just adding a half a cup of milk. So this is what we're going to put the chicken breast in to soak up a little bit so that we'll have a wet something that's going to go into the next dish, which we're going to mix with a teaspoon of salt and a half a cup of flour. Teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And go ahead and mix that in together. And then the other thing we're going to use, you can buy in the store actually cornflake crumbs. But if you can't find those, and sometimes you can't find them, you can go ahead and just use regular cornflakes from the store, and they're usually very inexpensive. I just put them in a little plastic bag, and I use a mallet or a heavy spoon, and I just crush them myself like this. And this is something that makes this a very unique salad too, because it's going to be fried in a little bit of oil with these cornflake crumbs and flour mixed together, so it'll have a really kind of big coating. And I'm going to put this in with the flour. Kind of mix that in together. So this will be actually the coating next is homemade. Okay, that's how we're going to start. And now I'm going to take it over to the stove and we're going to start frying up our chicken. Okay, we're ready now to fry up the chicken, and this is basically kind of a cornflake fried chicken. Okay, so I've already done one. I want to show you how it looks. So you want it light and golden, not too dark. And I cooked it about probably 2 minutes on each side because these are just strips, and so it doesn't take long to cook the chicken. So I have my milk mixture with the egg over here soaking some other chicken pieces. And then I covered this one already. So I'm going to put this one in, and then I'm going to take this out. So you can do more than one at a time, of course. And I just spread my cornflake and flour mixture, and then I kind of make sure I don't put too much oil in here, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. Okay, I'm cooking my second batch of chicken, and you can see how much 2 chicken breasts can make. This was my first batch that I did, and now I'm making my second batch. In between batches, I actually cleaned out the pan from the little bit of oil because the residue from the frying kind of started making it go dark a little bit, and you want it to look really nice and light and crispy. So I removed the grease, all the residue from the pan, and put a little bit more oil in for this second batch so that it would be looking just as fresh as your first batch. So I went ahead, I'm going ahead, I probably have cooked these probably 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes on each side. I use a little knife like this to see how easily, some pieces are thicker than others, so like I can tell that this piece is done because it slides in easily. You can always use a meat thermometer if you need to check that way. I think it's 160 degrees for chicken, but these don't take very long. This one right here is taking a little longer. I tested this one, and it's nice and tender and cooked all the way through. Okay, I think these are done. And this is the end of the second part of the Chinese chicken salad. I'm now doing step 4, I think. We are going to be prepping the salad, the actual salad ingredients, salad part of it. We want green onion. My recipe calls for like 1. I'm sorry, I love green onion. But you can put however much you want on it, especially if you decide to plate your salad and just everybody put how much onion they like. We're going to do a little bit of red cabbage. That adds a lot of flavor and color to the salad, and Chinese salads generally have some kind of cabbage in it. This is called a Napa Cabbage, and it's not like regular cabbage. It's very kind of light and crispy. It's perfect for this salad. It's not too crunchy. A lot of people who don't like cabbage won't even know that this kind of cabbage is in there, but it makes the salad so delicious. So we're going to be chopping that. I've already done salad spinned some of my romaine lettuce. So romaine lettuce is the other part of the salad that we'll be putting together. And I put some romaine in here to show you that I use a salad spinner to kind of get all of the water out of the washed lettuce. So I put this on here. Here's the top. And I go ahead and snap it into place. Stop that and undo your salad spinner. Take your basket out and remove any residue water that came out of the lettuce. So that keeps it fresh. So first, before I even start these, I'm going to go ahead and chop my romaine. And you kind of want these not in big chunks. I always just do it like this. And I cut it because I know I'm going to be using it later. I mean, we're going to be eating it right away. You might not want to do this if you want to prep the salad ahead of time. Just go ahead and wash your salad and put it in a Ziploc bag and wait to cut it the night you're going to, or day that you're going to eat it, because you don't want this turning brown, but you want kind of the smaller pieces in here as well. So I'm just taking it like this and just at random chopping up my romaine lettuce. And I haven't actually chopped this, I just washed it, so I'm going to be doing this one too. I love romaine because it has the light and the dark green, and it's just my favorite salad green that I use for most salads. You can put iceberg in it too, anything to make it crunchy, but romaine is the favorite. It's the darker green, which is a little healthier for you than the iceberg. Okay, like I said, we're pretty much doubling this recipe, or tripling, I guess depends on how much salad you like to eat at a sitting. But we made plenty of dressing to last for that, and we're going to go ahead and put this all back into my bowl so that it's all ready to go. Okay. The other thing we're going to add some color to is just very thin slices of purple cabbage. It works great. And then just kind of cut these into smaller pieces as well. You're going to add this to the salad to give it some color. Now, I love this little tool. It's kind of a julienne, what you do with carrots or other kind of vegetables to make them look really great, to slice them very thin, without you having to try to use a cutting tool. So how that works is I take my peeled carrot and I just go like this. And you can see the little small julienne pieces. I think I got this from Pampered Chef. I really like that company. They have some really great little tools. But you can see this quickly juliennes your carrot, and it looks really pretty in your salad. And you want, you know, as many colors as you want. If you want to put mushrooms in your salad, anything else that you would like in this salad, go ahead and add it. I'm pretty much sticking to the recipe here, but I tend to be one to say, hey, I wonder how beets would go. Of course, my husband would say, no, but you know, I love beets. So you kind of do this down to the very edge where you can't do it anymore. Take that there. Okay, so we have that. And then I'm going to go ahead and slice my onion too. That in here, and you can toss this completely if you want when you're ready. Okay, in just a few minutes I'm going to bring my salad to the table and show you how we put it together, the whole thing. This ingredient for our salad is the Napa cabbage. I just take the very top of it and just start slicing it like this, and you can put as little or as much cabbage you want into the salad, but it really truly does make the salad. I'm going to just slice it like this, add it to our lettuce and other ingredients, and we're ready to go. Okay, all of your salad ingredients are ready to go, and it's time to eat. You can either plate it for your guests or you can let them plate it for themselves. But what I've done is I've gone ahead and put a nice mound of all of the salad fixings that I have, the onion, the lettuce, the Napa cabbage, the carrot, all of that is in the middle of my plate. And then you want to sprinkle a little bit of sliced, slivered almonds on it. That gives it a little crunch if you're a nut person. If you're not, you can leave that out. But this is a really yummy part of this salad. And what I've done is, you can do it any way. You can either plate this with big chunks of chicken that they can cut, but I think it's much easier to go ahead, and I just kind of cut it on the diagonal into chunks right here, and you can see how beautiful the chicken is. And just mound this like you would a salad that you would see in a restaurant. Probably give them 2 or 3 pieces of chicken like this and put it right in the center of your salad. Probably maybe 3 pieces will do it, depending on how big your salad is. You just mound it right in the middle there. And then I'm going to go ahead, this is our salad dressing that we put in the refrigerator, this Asian Dijon mustard dressing. Just go ahead and drizzle this all over several times. Of course, this is something they could add themselves too, but I know we'll need at least this much. And then at the very end, I like to just take a little handful of our wontons and just crunch it and put it right on the salad here. Okay, there you go. Ready to serve, and it is just a memorable salad. You're going to love it. I hope you'll take the time to make it and see what your friends or family think about it.